Hey friends, I am your father Luke. Check this out folks, this is addressable LEDs. Okay, you can just use a strip. I glue them to a piece of plastic to make a little wand that we can connect to the Arduino. What we'll do is we'll connect our power and our data to the Arduino and we will control it with some code. In this first example, we're just seeing how the addressable LED works. So if I start the simulation here, we're just setting the first one red, second one green, third one blue, and just repeating that. You'll notice on the strip, it has a 5-volt pin, a ground pin. Those are connected just to 5 volts and ground on the Arduino. And then it has a data in pin, or digital in, maybe that is actually. And then that goes directly to one of the digital pins on the Arduino. In this case, we're going to use pin 2. When I look at the code, what we're doing is we're including the Adafruit NeoPixel library. That's the code that allows us to use this addressable strip. And then this line is just setting up a strip that's called, we're naming it pixels, and we're telling the computer some specifications for that. These numbers here, number 20 is how many LEDs are on the strip. And then this 2 is the digital pin we're connecting it to. Okay, so 20 LEDs connected to pin 2. And then in our setup, we're setting up pin 2 as an output. And then we're also starting the addressable strip. So it's called pixels. And then that pixels.begin, that just starts up the addressable strip. And then in our loop function, we're just going to set the colors of the individual LEDs on the strip. So this line here, pixels, set pixel color, 0, that's LED number 0, which is the first one. Okay, so they're numbered 0, 1, 2, the first one's 0. Pixels.color, that sets the color. This is red, this is green, this is blue. So 25500 is red, all right? Then pixels.show, it shows the change. So that's going to switch on that one LED color red. Delay 100 waits for 100 milliseconds. This next line here, pixel set pixel color, so 0 again, so it's the first LED again, and then setting the color to 000 is going to switch the LED off. All right, so that's like no red, no green, no blue, so that's off. And then the next line is going to set the color of pixel 1 or LED 1, all right, which is going to be the second LED. It'll set it to 02550, so that's going to be green, all right. And then the next block of code is going to turn off pixel or LED number 1, okay. And then we're going to turn on LED number 2. We're going to switch it on blue, and then we're going to switch that off. And then that's because that's all inside my loop function, that's just going to repeat over and over again. So let's just take a look at how that works again. So that's number 0. This is LED number 1. This is LED number 2. And it just repeats over and over again. Example 1, LED blink, just going red, green, blue. We have example 2, which is an LED chase. So if I run that, that's just lighting up one LED after the other all the way down the strip. Now, the way that that works is in our code, we're using something called a for loop, and we're using a variable I, which starts at 0. So what this loop here means is it means I've got an integer I that starts at 0. And then while I is less than 20, we're going to do what's inside. We're going to do this block of code that's inside the for loop. And then we're going to add 1 to I. I++ means add 1 to I. So what's going to happen then is I starts at 0. So we're going to set the color of LED number 0. We're going to set it to red. We'll show it. We'll wait for 100 milliseconds. Then we're going to set the color of pixel number 1, so pixel number 0, LED number 0, to all 0. So off, we're going to turn it off, and then we're going to wait a moment. Okay, and then we're going to go around the loop again, only this time the new value of I is going to be 1. So we'll switch on LED number 1 and then switch it off, and then I will be 2. So we'll switch on LED number 2 and then switch it off, number 3, switch it off, and so on, all the way up to the last one, which is number 19, and then we go back to number 0 again. Example 2, LED chase. And then the third example is, what's this doing? It's flashing all of the lights. It's flashing all of the lights red, all of the lights green. The way that you do this
is we have a for loop that's turning on. It's turning on or setting the color. Setting the color of every LED to be red. Okay, so it goes from I is 0 up to I is 19. Okay, which is because that's less than 20. And then once it's set the color of all of those, then we have the pixels show outside the for loop. So what that means is it'll set all of them to red, and then it'll show them. So they'll all go on, and then we wait for 500 milliseconds, and then we set all of them to off. Okay, all of them to off, and then show that, and then wait for 500 milliseconds, and then we're going to set all of them to green. Okay, so 02550 is green. Okay, we show that change, wait for half a second, and then last off we set all of them to off, show that change, wait for half a second. Okay, so the what's happening is they're all going red, all going off, all going green, all going off.
Example 3, all flash.
And in the last example, number 4, it's doing a bunch of things. There are some loops inside some loops, and you can just play around with this code and just get it to do whatever you want it to do, folks. All right.
Example 4. So you'll probably be okay just connecting the 5 volts and the ground into the Arduino and the D-in into pin 2. Okay, but if the Arduino is not actually meant to power this many LEDs, so what you can do, it might actually trip the Arduino. What you can do is you can connect it to a battery supply. So if you get 4 batteries, so that's a little under 6 volts, okay, around 5 volts, connect those into a breadboard, and then you're just going to power the Arduino, sorry, power the strip and the Arduino from the batteries. So we take the 5 volts from the battery here over to our 5 volts on the Arduino. And then we take 0 volts from the battery, from the breadboard, over to the ground on our Arduino. Okay, and then we still connect the data pin, the digital pin, from our strip into 2 on the Arduino, but we connect now the power for the addressable strip. We connect it into the breadboard, so the 5 volts goes into the 5 volt rail, and the ground goes into the ground rail. Okay, so you can think of it as the battery is powering the breadboard, and then the Arduino and the addressable strip are getting powered directly from the breadboard, like that.